Okay, this is Jackson from Veridian Cruise. Today we've got the new Himalayan 450. It should be fairly easy install. This is one of the easiest kits to do. Just need to remove the tank and all the connections are in this area. So the first thing to do is to remove the seat. If you don't know how to do that, well, you might struggle with this. There's just a key here. You can pop this guy and then you can pop the main seat, remove your battery, and then we're at this stage here. So next you're gonna wanna remove, 1, 2, 3, 10 millimeters. You can leave this pinch bolt in. You just need to remove those 3. And then I like to have a nice yogurt container to put your screws in. Have a few so you don't mix them up. Put them in place so you don't kick them. So with this guy, you can lift this, kind of get out of the way. And then the whole tank is gonna come backwards. Some wiggling and help will be needed. If the tank is full, be very careful. Have a buddy here so that you don't drop it and dent it. Users have done that and it's a real shame. So once you've got it kind of back and pulled away, there's a fuel connection, a electrical pump connection, and then there's a fuel sender on this side, on the inside. What I recommend to start with is the fuel and the electrical connections on this side. Okay, so we've got those 2 connections removed. We're gonna go ahead and pull the tank back a bit more. So the first thing we're gonna do is just remove this black shroud. You've got a 4mm bolt on the top. And the whole thing just slides away. Okay, so we've got these bolts done. We've got the shroud off. We're gonna remove the tank, but there's still the fuel sender that's on this side. So don't forget there's 2 connections here and 1 connection here. So what you've got to do is kind of pull it towards yourself and undo that connection. And so now I can show you the details of how those connectors work. So this is the connector for the fuel sender. It sits on this side and there's a clip on the top that you push down and it pulls away. So there's the fuel pump. This guy sits like this. So the place to push is on this side and then you can pull down. For the fuel hose, you have to pinch both sides. There's two yellow tabs. So you pinch both those and pull away. Then you're free. So within the connections here, we've got a couple different connections, throttle, switches, and brake. So this is the main one we're after. It's a 6-pin connector. You kind of just disconnect it, get one side out, and then it comes off. There is a second tab on the back to get it free from the bracket. Sometimes they come off, sometimes they need a little persuasion, and there's just a tab on the back you can pick for that. With the cruise controller, you kind of want to mount it up here, just in front of the fuel tank above the radiator reservoir. So that gets mounted there with a couple zip ties. And then in this case, I've used white connectors, but the ones you'll be supplied are black. And just connect the mating pair. So what I've done is we're going to do that. We're going to put this guy back in the original holder. And then you've got the outbound. And then we've got the inbound. Okay, so once you've got that, you've got the other T connection in, you're gonna zip tie this guy, get it nice and secure and out of the way. Remember, the fuel tank is gonna attach this nub here, so this needs to be kept clear. The next connection is the 4-pin, so that's the switch for the handlebar. So what we've done here is we've got that guy mounted right here. I did move the mirror over just a little bit. Those guys are super easy. There's just a 3mm on the back, so you can remove that fully. And then it clamps onto the bar. So once that's in place, you want to run the cable along the existing wiring, kind of bring it in front of the triple here, between these two, follow the existing wiring back to the connection. So now the last connection on your harness is this big long guy. That's the diagnostic connector, and this needs to go back to the diagnostic connector in the rear by the battery. And so the way that we've run this is come in front. So from the cruise module, it comes down, comes around here, was a tight fit to get it in, behind the throttle. And then we did lift this plate, so it's optional if you want to lift that plate and run it beside. I would suggest it's just 4 screws, another 10mm, then you can get it nice and clean up into this area. What you want is this for a 6-pin red connector. There's a plug on it, so you can just remove the plug and then plug in the diagnostic connector. And then again, zip tie that all nicely. Make sure, especially sure that nothing's gonna pinch, nothing's gonna get caught. So we've got it mounted here, we've got it mounted here, and then the unit, of course, is mounted as well. If you need other accessories, we do sell a splitter, and that will fit. So if you have multiple devices like OBD scanners or whatnot. So at this point, what's best to do, we can power up the bike. You will get an error if the throttle is not connected. So at this point, we can go ahead and power up the bike. We've got the system online. If you don't have the fuel tank connected, it's going to give you an error. So just be aware that you will get a check engine light. And then what we can see is that we have a yellow LED. That's good. That means that we're connected to the bike and it's receiving the appropriate signals. If you go ahead and squeeze the brake, you will get flashing, either brake, and that's telling me that it's receiving the brake signal properly. From here, we can put it back together and go for a test drive. So again, it's just the throttle connection, the switch, and the diagnostic connector. That's it for the Himalayan kit. So when you're putting the fuel tank on, kind of start with it a bit back. Don't forget your fuel center is going to be first. We're going to reach in, get that electrical connection done. So now when you're putting this in, there is a ball and a socket or a spot there that it has to fit into, one on each side. Just kind of keep wiggling back and forth until I get it all the way forward. Okay, so we've got that back in. We'll go ahead and put our screws back in. Careful with your wrenches not to scratch the tank. It's easy to contact the tank there and scratch it up. And then last, we'll just toss the little guard on. This guy's got some clips on the left and the right, not clips, but slots that it has to go into. Okay, then once you've got those on, you can put your screw back in and you're done. So at this point, you've got the install done. Take the bike to a safe road for your first test drive. Make sure you're in a place that you're not going to be causing any problems, or if there is a problem, you can pull over safely. Yeah, test the cruise in a controlled environment. If you have any problems, give us a contact, info@veridiancruise.com.